How about the Elite 11 finals coming up in Southern California, June 17th through June 19th? And if you don't know about the Elite 11s, here is a brief description. It's a competition and training camp that brings together the nation's top 20 quarterbacks from around the country in the class of 2026 for 3 days of drills, coaching, evaluation in Southern California. It's been going on for 26 years. The Elite 11 staff has done a phenomenal job, and we are looking forward to another year. Andrew Ivins, Tom Loy will also be there in person this year. You think about the notable guys that have been there. Keelan Russell, one of the top players in the country that we talked about, signed with Alabama this past year. You look at Heisman Trophy winners like Caleb Williams, and then other guys like C.J. Stroud. You go down the list, Tua Tagovailoa. So no shortage of star power. So what we're going to do this year, well, we're going to draft these guys, and here are the participants that we will be able to select from. The 20 guys that will be in attendance in L.A. this summer, starting with the number one player in the country, Faison Brandon, Keyshawn Henderson. We'll talk about all these guys and a lot more. But first, we got to take you through our scoring system and the criteria for how we will grade these players, and that will happen, obviously, a couple weeks from now. But there you see it. The most valuable player, which will be decided by the Elite 11 staff, will earn you 11 points. If they make the Elite 11, that means you finish in the top 11 out of the 20. That will earn you 5 points. The Athletic Rail Shot Challenge, the winner of that will get you 3 points. Panini Accuracy Challenge, another 3 points. Vices Pro Day, another 3 points. And then the Wild Card makes the Elite 11. That would be 10 additional points. So let me say this. There's a lot of information going on. Each of these guys, Tom and Andrew, will select 6 players, and their 7th player will be that wild card player. So I like the idea of this, a nice fantasy draft. And Drew, since you are the DOS, the director of scouting, you will get the first pick in the draft, and you are officially on the clock for the Elite 11 finals.
Fired up.
Yeah, well, hey, me and Tom had to do rock, paper, scissors for 1-1 in this draft. Cooper, I'm going with our guy, Faison Brandon. He's been our dude for over a year now, and I see no reason to move off the number one player in the country who is currently committed to Tennessee. Went back, watched his Elite 11 workout there in Arizona. It was like a nightclub laser show. I mean, he was firing it to all 3 levels. You look at Faison Brandon, 6'3", pushing 200 pounds. This kid has only lost 1 game in his high school career there at Grimsley High School. I think he's got all the tools. And what really stands out to me about Faison Brandon is the fact that he's actually going to compete. Kind of go through the recent years. We had no Bryce Underwood, no Arch Manning, no Nico Iamaleava. Faison didn't back down. This is a confident competitor. Remember, he was at the National Combine in San Antonio back in January where he named him the Alpha Dog. So I think he's got all the tools. I'm a little concerned maybe about, the downfield shots during his pro day. But again, dig into that workout he had a few months ago in Atlanta at the regional and then revisit the junior tape when statistically he was the best quarterback in the top 247. I'm all in on Faison Brandon.
I remember you called me as soon as that regional was over, and you were just raving about how impressive he looked, how it was one of the best performances you've seen. So kind of a no-brainer. I'm a little disappointed you took him number 1 because I would have loved to take him. But, I mean, and Tennessee fans completely locked in, not really looking around. I don't really think, everybody's reaching out to him because he's the best player in America. But Volunteers fans, I think you're safe. He's going to be signing with Tennessee.
We talked about it. What does this season look like, right, for Tennessee, LSU in there in the sweepstakes as well? A lot of teams trying to reach out, but Joey Aguilar, George McIntyre, Jake Merklinger, what does it look like this year? What does it look like for the future of that room? A lot of expectations. Drew, I know you had something you wanted to add on Faison Brandon.
I just want to point out, guys, he's also the youngest competitor of the 20 finalists. He turns 17 in a few days. He is young. He could actually be in the class of 2027. I think that's a key nugget when we kind of set the stage for this event.
All right, Tom, you actually have picks 2 and 3. That will be the only time that one of you guys has back-to-back picks, but you were on the clock with pick number 2.
I'm going to go with Houston quarterback commit Keyshawn Henderson, the 6'4", 180-pounder. This kid is the real deal. I'm not going to lie. A year ago, I'm not sure this would have been my 2nd overall pick. This is a kid that I think has day 1 potential as a receiver, as a safety. He's the real deal. 2,200 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 picks. special talent, special kid too. Everybody, whether you talk to national analyst Mike Roach, anybody who's been around him for years, he is the same kid that you've met years ago. Incredible talent, locked in with the Cougars. But I will say this, if we can just quickly touch on his recruitment a little bit. I mean, as you can see on there, 2024 Navy All-American Bowl MVP, again, incredible talent. But I want to say, Houston, I feel great about you guys keeping him in the class. Feel great about it. But keep an eye on Texas A&M. They are lingering. They need a quarterback, and they're spending some money. There's another team to keep an eye on, and that's the Florida State Seminoles. Not being talked about enough. If he decides to show up on campus in Tallahassee, I won't be surprised. Keep an eye on Florida State.
The Aggies lingered around last year for Keelan Russell, and it didn't get done. And I think there was a little maybe remorse that they weren't a little bit more aggressive earlier in the process. You wonder if they apply lessons learned here. Maybe they turn over a new leaf, and it's Keyshawn Henderson that they turn their focus to. All right, Keyshawn Henderson, pick number 2. You have pick number 3. What do you got?
Let's go with Texas quarterback commit Dia Bell right there in the Sunshine State. Andrew, you know him well. I think you've been on him alongside me longer than anybody. We've seen this kid. I feel like we've seen this kid grow up. 6'2", 215, 2,600 passing yards, 29 TDs, 6 picks, 71% completion percentage. Again, this is a kid that is fired up to be a Longhorn. He's all in with them. But there are some schools lingering. You got Ohio State, LSU, and Oregon, which was a top contender when he first picked the Longhorns. So keep an eye on those 3 schools moving forward. But again, I think Dia Bell, he's healthy again. This is going to be an opportunity for him to really, really show what he could do. I think, from what I've gathered, he's 100% at this point, or at least really close to it, heading into the finals. So very excited to see what he does this week. Or I'm sorry, that week when he get out there in L.A., but very excited. He was, I would say, pretty easy for me to pick number 3.
Can't say it enough. Son of former NBA standout Raja Bell, and a guy that's going to be playing his football either in Austin or somewhere else, but you understand the level of intrigue in a guy like Dia Bell, who I think is one of the best pure passers in the country. Drew, you're back on the clock at number 4.
Well, I just want to say, Tom, going against the grain here. We haven't had a Florida-based quarterback win the MVP at the Elite 11 Finals since Sean White back in 2013. But I'll be honest, Keyshawn Henderson, Dia Bell, they are next on my big board. And I'm glad you not also grabbed this guy. I'm going at number 4, so my second pick, Jake Fetty. I call him Fetty Wap. Hudson Standish on the scouting team calls him El Passer. It was a loaded regional in Austin a few months ago. A lot of big names there. Keyshawn Henderson, Dia Bell. I thought Jake Fetty went throw for throw with these guys. He rips fastballs through the wind. You know, Kenny Dillingham has done wonders with Sam Levitt, excuse me. I can't wait till he gets his hands on Fetty. 18-2 as a starter, 32 touchdowns to just 1 interception as a junior on 239 pass attempts. He's surgical, excellent on the ball fakes, and I think he's the type of kid that could thrive at all these different throwing stations that the Elite 11 staff and Brian Stump set up, right? You know, you have that opening initial workout. Sometimes it takes guys a few different stations to get their legs underneath them. I think Jake Fetty will be ready to go. I really like this kid. He's a kid we moved up in our most recent rankings. I don't think he's being talked about enough on a national level. He's a gamer, right? He can go and win you some games.
Yeah, you got to give Kenny Dillingham a ton of credit for the job that he's been able to do over the last couple of years, even back to his time in Eugene. He carries that over with Sam Levitt. Then you think about Cam Dyer, a guy that we haven't even really talked about a lot, and what they bring into that quarterback room, a guy that we really liked in the top 247 last year. On the clock right now with the number 5 pick, Tom Loy, who do you got?
Fetty was a great pick, by the way. That was kind of thought he would be here at this point, but I'm going to go with top 247 quarterback Landon Duckworth. This is a guy who's uncommitted, but this is a kid that I've seen in this setting multiple times, and I love the group that he's working with there at QB Country, David Morris and his team. So 3,400 yards, 39 TDs, 10 picks last year. He can run the ball. He can throw it. So much to like. Maybe not the cleanest mechanically. I think a lot of people give him a little bit of a knock here and there, but man, this is a kid who's coveted by every school in the country. Ole Miss, South Carolina, Florida State, Auburn. Those are the ones I'm keeping the closest eye on. I think it's going to be difficult to follow Deuce Knight, but a lot to like here with this kid. I mean, a lot to like with Landon Duckworth.
I'm a huge fan of Landon Duckworth, what he brings to the table, the multi-sport background. Obviously, Drew, the highlight of him punching it on the hardwood, dunking on a poor defender there. He's got a little bit of everything to him. I think the Deuce Knight comparisons make a lot of sense with what he brings to the table as well.